Hey there, Smoke Master D here with you with another episode of my show, and it's finally here, my El Patron, after 17 weeks of waiting. I ordered it on July 8th, and now here at the end of October, it is finally here, and I'm very excited for it. And I want to show you what I have on it, the upgrades. And I also want to go over my first cook. You know, the very day I got it, I decided to cook some poor man's burnt ends. So I'll walk you through that too. So I got the pull bar there, and I also got this, the stainless steel shelf. It came in very handy in my cook last night. You noticed looks like I have some of the oil came down out of, the funny thing about these is that they're spring loaded. You have these springs here, and you can sort of push them out and then turn them. When it gets in that notch, it was very hard to sort of get out of there. It didn't want to turn earlier, but you've got those springs. Now, when I used my wired thermometer, I decided just to go in through these vents. So I know that part of what they wanted to do here was make it so that they could put a rotisserie through here, which is a fine idea. But I think for most people who want to run wired probes, there's a lot more room up here. Even when you choke it down, you know, you have that extra room. And if you choke it down, the wire will still be there. Please excuse my thumb. I broke it about a month ago, and the nail is still growing back. One thing that I have noticed about this is that when you let it fall, it hits pretty hard here on this, and you can see that I already have some damage from that. You know, it's really, when I was taking the protective cover off, it was slamming there, and I noticed that it was creating that damage. There's not much I can do about it now. It was my fault, something to watch out for. It does seem like maybe there should be something to catch it from hitting there, because that's what it's going to do on rotating on this axis here. I'm not too worried about it. I may cover it with some oil at some point if it looks like it's going to start rusting. See it's there as well. Other thing I got here is this lovely port for an automatic fan system. I know that there have been some people who've complained about videos using automatic fans. You know, the whole sort of automation thing. You know, I want all the ways. I'm going to try it all the ways. And I plan to use it manually to, you know, put in the fuel manually. There's my fire there. Basically, I ran this thing stick burner style last night. I had my blocker up here blocking the heat from my burn ends above, and I was putting sticks in. I had a little bit of charcoal in there, so I know how to do that, and I'm gonna do that. But there's gonna be some times when I want to run the thing differently. One addition that I haven't pulled out of the box yet is that pizza stone, and it's gonna go there. And when it is there, I want a fan to make sure that my temps are as high as I want them to be. I want a fan that's going to make sure the temps are up around 500 or so. And, you know, it's going to be what's going to make that system work. There's going to be times in the winter. You know, I am the kind of person who in the winter, I don't like to be outside as much. You find all sorts of offset smoker guys who are like, yeah, I went out there and below 40 degrees and I was still feeding the fighter every 20 minutes. That's great for them, but that's not me. All right, so I've got that port there. All right. Notice that I have the extra rack, which is so cheap. I don't know who wouldn't do it. There. And you may notice also here that these are the stainless, right? These are the stainless steel. And that was a pretty penny, but I haven't had too many stainless steel grates before. I hear that they're easier to clean. So far, that has been the case. I haven't gotten them too dirty yet. But it was an upgrade I wanted to try out because I've never had it before, and I really like them so far. That's pretty much it from the upgrades. Let me show you the rest of the stuff. I'm gonna show my ignorance here. I'm gonna pull this out. You got to be careful on this thing. This thing wants to run there. It'll hurt you. I thought that you had to do it this way to make it stop, which turned out not to be true. So a couple times, this thing fell on my fire until I figured it out. The braking is from pushing it down, where it's gonna go into that groove there and stop it, right? So we come here. All right. And there we have the platform. We've got the Chud box style notch system. And I use that some. I had to install this handle here. At first, it was kind of rough to make it go back and forth. But now it's loosened up some. Maybe some of that oil got in there. And I think for a lot of my cooks, I'm going to be using this. And a lot of people swear by the door thing. I like watching my fire. I like these windows. I want to see my fire. So that's what I really like. So, that's what I intend to do. I did not upgrade to the 8-inch casters. I just have these regular 5-inch casters. There's a slight incline here for the water to drain off over here. And I've got these. I don't have any real wheel chocks. These bricks are what I'm going to do. And they seem to be doing just fine as far as I need them. This thing's not the easiest thing to get around. It weighs all of its 450 pounds. But I think I can manage it. One thing that I was interested to see about was the height of the grill, right? I was wondering what those extra, 3 inches would do on the wheels. And I feel like, get you over here again. I feel like I'm not too far away from the grill. I feel like it's at a good height. It's right here, sort of on my thigh. I can reach in, I can bend in. I was a little worried. This thing's actually really tall this way. I'm 5'9". That's how tall I am. It's almost too tall for me to get reaching this way. This door handle all the way up here. So if you're shorter, it could be an issue. You can always come around and get slightly better on the side. I like to reach from the front though, and I'm just gonna make it. If I had those extra inches, maybe I couldn't have made it, right? One thing I noticed last night while I was cooking is that this handle got rather warm on me. Too hot? I don't know. I'm gonna have to keep my eye on that. I was trying to cook up on the second shelf just because I was cooking indirect. So it remains to be seen how much I'm going to actually use this window to see what's cooking. but it is something I'm looking forward to doing. You'll notice that I did not get the wheel with how violently that thing swung around. You know, maybe it would be safer to have gotten the wheel. I'm not sure. Just from the standpoint that I don't think the wheel would come out and hit you quite so much. So that's one interesting thing. Imagine with these bolts being the way they are, I could get a wheel if I wanted to, or you know, have somebody fabricate one, even just, you know, aftermarket. But one thing to keep in mind. All right. You notice that I have some feet on these. I welded those on myself. I got this for my offset smoker, but I think I'm going to try it in here. All right. One thing I noticed, so I didn't buy this with the smoker. I already had this from Lone Star Grillz. But you can see that it's rusted a bit in the interim. But one thing that I noticed last night was that that having it on this surface here, the fire just regularly, it will sort of not be as close together as you might want it to get that heat. I noticed that I needed to get smaller splits. So I have my kindling cracker going on that. But I think that this system here will help in some cases. And I think making this to work as a stick burner, as a indirect cooker stick burner, even with the charcoal, I think it's gonna hold it together a bit better, and keep things in the heat. You know, it'll come up on here and hopefully spread out through these plates that are heat diffuser. One thing that I think some of the reviews kind of gloss over, and something that I'd forgotten, is that there's a bar right there. Those cable wires, and you can see through there the wires that are going down. The mechanism is just that it wraps around here, wraps around that bar, right? So down here, notice that I have this thing as close as it will go. This is all the way up on this bar. In the video that I made when I was talking about buying this smoker, somebody put in the comments about that they had one of these and they were disappointed that this thing didn't get up to. Now, I've got that thing cranked about as high as it can go, and it looks like I'm hitting about 7, a little less than 7.5. So the guy in the comments put 8, but it definitely looks like about 7.5. You see 8 there, 7.5, a little below 7.5. The idea, of course, being that if you're going to build the fire on this platform and you want to bring it up to sear something, the closer you get, the hotter it's going to be for the sear. All right, let's take another measurement here. How far from the bottom here to the grate? All right. One thing is that 1904 pits makes a big deal about being a full 2 feet away from their grate. It looks like this one is just 3 inches short of that. One thing that I am looking forward to doing is using this like a hot box and cooking with coals on the bottom and, you know, meat up here on the grates. That is something that I've been looking forward to a lot with this. And one thing that I want to do is use wood as opposed to actual charcoal to make coals and put them in here. So please stay tuned for that, which should be coming in the future at some point. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of different ways to cook on this thing. I think 2-zone cooking on the platform is going to be something as well. You know, raising it up for that searing, but having less fire over on the other side for sort of a cooler zone. So yeah, maybe do some chicken that way. So for a second there, I forgot this bar. The bar down there is going to keep me from making this thing go all the way up as far as I want it to. Being that the idea would be that you would have sort of a sear sort of area right where this is. When I emailed Lone Star Grillz, they said that you could just build your fire up to be closer to the bars, which I imagine is true. Searing, though, does seem like it could be something that is a bit harder to do on this than I initially expected. Not that it would be impossible, and of course, if you throw some sticks on there and get some actual like flame coming up to lick your meat, it'll sear. Just want to let y'all know that my friend Tim helped me get this grill where it is. He gives this grill his stamp of approval, but to get it to where I needed it to go, I had to get it over all this lawn, and I just used 1/2-inch plyboard that was cut so that I could fit it through the fence there, through the gate, and we just took one piece of plyboard, put it around, walked it on, shifted the other one around until we got it to here, and then used this pull bar to lift up on it and get it up on here. And that seemed to work all right. It wasn't super easy, but we did it. The people at Lone Star Grillz, they do their work when it comes to crating stuff. They use nails. We kind of wish they'd use screws, which would have been easier to get out. But we used a crowbar and a claw from a hammer and got those out. And, you know, rolled it off onto the concrete surface and then got it here. Yeah, this is it. Got this tell-true here. I think it'll do all right. It's a good ways from the bars here, but as far as being a good gauge to give relative temperature inside, I think it'll do the work. I've liked Lone Star Grillz for a long time. I feel like they do a lot to make sure that all the engineering on their pits is really good. They make sure that everything is over-engineered, really structurally sound, really well thought out. And I'm looking forward to using this thing in all of its capacities. All right, the power's gone out, so I'm gonna cube this thing up out here. This is a chuck roast. I dry brined it for a few hours. Now I'm gonna put it into cubes, so hopefully the salt has penetrated. All right, into the smoker. Here. All right, and here we are. All right, threw on some dogs for our own eating tonight. All right, look at the red on there. Look at that color. All right, it is time to put these here. All right. Let's see. I've got to get some butter in here. Squeeze. Last thing here. Alright, there we go. Alright, it's gotten dark. Thankfully, the lights are back on. I'm gonna pour a little bit of my Blue Hog barbecue sauce in here. Alright, let's have another go at this. Some of the smaller ones are squishing very well. All right, I think it's ready. I'm going to let some sauce set on here. I'm gonna put some more of this on Blue's Hog there. On it, and we're gonna let it go another 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. Let that sauce set up on it real nice, and then take it off. All right, so we have the end of my burnt ends. I think they've got enough squish, hopefully. Yeah, I'm happy with the Star Grillz El Patron so far. Let me give this a taste test. It is a tasty bite. I could have taken it a little bit longer, made it even squishier maybe, but really, it tastes good. The Blue's Hog, the sweetness is really coming through here. Yeah, that is really good. I think my coworkers are really going to enjoy that when I take it in for a Halloween treat. We're doing a little potluck. All right, and that's all for the show. As always, go get your smoke on.